everybody, Patty Ann here again today. Hey, I'm going to show you how to make this little cute mug rug. I made one yesterday, but I'm going to show you how to make this one again today. On this one, I varied some things. In Embrilliance Essentials, I was able to move the diagonal line over there so that my unicorn would fit. Otherwise, the way it was shaped at first, she would not. So I'll show you where to get the design that you want to use for this. It'll be linked down below. It's Parker on the porch. And I'll show you where to get this design for the unicorn, as well as I'll teach you how to move the diagonal line over. So let's go get down to my computer and get started. Okay, here we are in Embrilliance, and as you can see, I've already brought in the mug rug pattern or file. So the first thing I'm going to do is come down here to the word hoop, down here at the lower right, double click on that, and that changed my hoop. Instead of it being a portrait, it's landscape. Well, let's hit the letter 0, the number 0, so we can see the whole hoop in my design area. So you can see the whole hoop here now. But my design is still in portrait mode. So in order to change that, I'll just come up here to this little arrow, and it says rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. I'll do that. Well, I gotta click on it first, I guess, to select it. Sorry. And now I'm going to rotate it. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to edit and ungroup. And that's going to allow me to take some pieces off of here. Once again, do you know what, y'all? I forgot to select it first. You have to tell it what you want to perform that job on. So I want to select my item here and then come up here and go to edit ungroup. And now I can take some of these pieces off. You see that? And once it's selected, and you know that because it has these little marching ants around it, I can hit delete on my keyboard. Want to get rid of the leaf, delete, and the leaf outline, delete. Okay, now we're left with what we need. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in that unicorn file, which I'll have linked for you down below. And I'm just going to do that by clicking right here, merge stitch file. And, what's it called? Winter. Okay, it's called Christmas Winter Unicorn. Click on that and that opens them. And I happen to know the one I need to use is, although it's a little bit too big for this area, as you can see. So what I decided to do, rather than to smush it down, was I just went ahead and changed where these diagonal lines are on here. So I can click on the blue one if I'd like, and you can see it selected over here in the objects panel. And I can just drag it over this way. Then I can select the red one and just drag it over this way. So we want them still to be on top of each other. So what that means is my pattern's going to be over here, and now my unicorn is going to be over here. Okay, the next thing I wanted to do was to add a little text here, and I'm just going to have it say down here, Christmas Magic. So I come up to the little text tool, which is the A. It brings this in. Come down here to where it says letters, and I can make it say whatever I like. So I'm going to say Christmas Magic and hit enter. Okay, and then I can go down through here and see what kind of font do I like that to be. Oh, that's kind of cool. Christmas Magic. Maybe that one will work. All right, let's see. Now remember yesterday I showed you a little something. If you're not sure how big you can make these or small, you know, that you can come over here to this little question mark, and it will tell you once you click on it the maximum size available or allowable and the minimum size. And so the maximum size for one letter height is 34 millimeters. And you can see if you look up here, right now my height is 22 millimeters, so that's fine. But I don't know, I don't think I really like that font, to be honest with you. So I'm just going to check one more. Okay, that looks pretty good like that, except for I'm not crazy because this doesn't look like it's really centered, although maybe it looks pretty good. I'll just leave it like that for now, and you can adjust yours however you like. Maybe you want to put it on 2 lines with Christmas up here and Magic down here. Anyway, the next thing that I would do then is make sure this is all going to fit. I would just come up here to File, Save As, and I would save my stitch and working file. I'd save them both. And so then I would go to my machine and start stitching it out. Okay, I'm using my little PE 770 for this project because I just need a 5x7 hoop. The first step has you stitch out the placement line for your fabric and your felt or batting, whatever you're using inside. Next, you will take your piece of felt or your batting and place that down on top of the placement line of stitching, and then you'll put your fabric on top of that. The next stitch or the next step will go around your whole thing to tack down both your batting or your felt, and then on top of that your fabric that you're using. So it's the tack down stitch. Step number 3 is the diagonal line placement stitch. The diagonal line shows you where to place your patterned fabric on the left hand side of your mug rug. Since my fabric that I'm using is not really directional, I don't really need to be careful how I place it there. I need to make sure that it's going over that diagonal line by at least 1/4 of an inch, and that my fabric is face down. Because I'm going to stitch again, and you'll see that in a minute, and then flip the fabric. Step number 4 is the tack down stitch, which stitches the diagonal line, tacking down your patterned fabric. Okay, just for a quick video then, I want this diagonal line to line up with this piece face down, but I want this piece to be 1/4 of an inch over that. And I'll make sure when I flip it like this, it's going to cover the whole thing. But you can follow the other instructions that are really well written in the pattern. But since I'm using a pattern that's not, it does not have to be a certain way, like what I had done yesterday, I had to have this a certain way so that my birds wouldn't be upside down or sideways. These snowflakes don't matter one way or the other, so I can just put this on this line, making sure that I cover that line 1/4 of an inch above it. Okay, then I'll just stick this back in my machine and do the tack down stitch. Okay, as you can see here, I finished the tack down stitch. Now all I'm going to do is take this fabric that's going to be on the left hand side of my mug rug and fold it up like this and just kind of finger press it like that. I'll put this back into my machine, and it's going to run stitch number 5, which is going to tack down and hold in place this patterned fabric. Okay, for this part of my stitching, I've changed to a nylon transparent thread. I wanted there to be quilting on it, but I didn't really want it to be a color or to necessarily show up. So you can see it provides texture, but you don't see any white or any other color or blue. I just wanted it to be subtle. Okay, I wanted to show you something in Embrilliance that you should have done unless you want to jump ahead stitches on your embroidery machine, which will work as well. If you'll notice over here in the Objects panel, number 7 step, that's supposed to be the very, very last step of making your mug rug, and that's the step that joins the front and the back together. Well, you do not want them joined together until you're done doing your design over here. So what I need to do is I need to grab this thing here. I'm gonna, oh, you know what? These are all grouped together. I've got to ungroup this again, edit, ungroup, okay? Then I'm going to drag this down to the very bottom and make it last. So what's going to happen now, we'll do step number 6, and then it's going to do the unicorn, different colors there, and then it's going to do the letters, and then it will go and do the very last part of the mug rug. This image shows the final stitching before I put the 2 pieces together on the back, and I'll show you that in a sec. Okay, my mug rug's not totally done here, but I did want to show you how I've decided to finish mine. Some of us have been saying that these pieces that we're supposed to put on here are so long and there's so much waste. Well, what we discovered is if we fold it in half and press it with your iron is probably the best thing to do, and then line it up, making sure that all of the edges of your mug rug are covered, right? And then you do the same with the other piece. Remember, this is on the top part of your hoop, your mug rug, and you don't have to worry about putting right side down or whatever side down because you have it like this. And I think it makes a nice, a little bit sturdier mug rug, gives it a little bit more fabric to soak up any moisture, and I just like the way it looks. You don't have to worry about closing it actually because the whole thing inside is going to be nice looking. So you just need to make sure that you overlap them nicely and make sure that this line from your mug rug right here is overlapped, as well as the sides. Peek under there, peek under here. And if you want to, you could put a pin here and here to hold it in place while you're stitching. And that's the final step for the mug rug. All you do now is take it out of the hoop, trim around the edges, and turn it right side out. If you're not sure how to do that, I show that in yesterday's video, and I'll have it linked right up above here. Thanks so much for joining me. Hey, don't forget, I have the links to these products down below as well as other ones if you're in the market to purchase something. I sure do appreciate it when you use my links. Thanks again. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.